Sailing and naval combat have been featured in gaming since forever, but rarely do we get a game that completely disregards ground exploration and has sailing as its main focus. There were Sid Meier's Pirates and Quaid's Uncharted Waters series way back in the day, but I guess losing yourself in the middle of the ocean is not exactly something that everyone can enjoy, so sailing never exactly became a gaming subgenre. And as a result, despite sailing and naval combat being featured in more games than ever now, those sailing series were basically dead in the water, and those who do like this kind of gaming got left to forever thirst for more. And what you know, one of the first games to come out in 2023 is a game whose entire selling point is, well, sailing. As the game title suggested, the main gameplay focus of Sailing Era is, well, sailing. And I have to say, it probably won't be a game for everyone because most of the time, you'll just be going back and forth between ports, staring at the vast empty mass of water. But if you can get over that one aspect, you'd find the game offers a lot more than just staring at water. Each port offers some kind of goods completed with their own price list, so one way of making money is to buy something cheap at one place and sell it for profit at another. Every port also offers requests that require you to sell them certain goods or go to certain places to put an end to some pirate or smuggler fleets. Clearing these requests will earn you more money and net you contribution points toward the port. When your contribution points reach certain thresholds, you'd get some bonuses from the port, like unlocking new special goods, permission to open guilds and send ships to automatically hoard goods from other ports for you, or even unlocking the ability to go on land expeditions at certain ports to discover even more new things and goods to sell. And here is where I think the game shines the most, the joy of discovery that the game offers. Discovering new ports and its offering of goods is a given, but also at any point in your journey, you could bump into new potential crewmates, meet new NPCs, or come across events or items just lying around in the market that could give you clues to discover some kind of buried treasures or unknown world wonders. And sailing around, making heads or tails of the clues you are given to discover new things is just incredibly fun. It helps that the game literally spans across the entire globe, so there is a lot of mysteries and wonders to uncover and characters to meet with. What I think the game kinda falters a bit is its approach to game's progression and the combat. First, about its game progression. Like almost every other game that have you play as a large group of misfits, your party starts out weak and small, but in other games, your party's movement speed is pretty constant throughout the game, and what your party can do to interact with the world is steadily unlocked as you progress through the main story. In this game though, your movement and what you can do with the world are tied to your ship's equipment and the crewmates assigned on deck, which makes totally perfect sense, mind you, but it also means when you first starting out, you move at a crawling snail pace and are very gated away from a lot of the game's contents. And as a result, after the game's interaction, you probably will have to waste a lot of time going back and forth between ports to grind out needed money and manpower to upgrade your fleet, and considering the speed of your ship at the beginning of the game, this is not a very pleasant experience. And maybe it was just because of the character I choose to play as, whose starting point is at around Saudi Arabia, but I just couldn't find any new crewmates in the area besides the two story-related characters, leading me to not enjoying the first two chapters much. It's only when I reached Europe, which has loads of potential crewmates with very different and colorful backgrounds, that my journey became a much smoother sailing. I understand that Europe was the place that spearheaded the age of exploration, and many history-changing events and discoveries took place here, so it got the most contents is a given, but spacing out the crewmates and events throughout the world more would have made the game much more enjoyable in my opinion. And then there's the combat, which got hit hard with the game's not so stellar progression. As mentioned earlier, your ship's movement is tied to its equipment and the crewmates assigned to the ship, so your first few battles are gonna suck a lot, because you can barely keep up with the enemy's fleet with the awkward speed and steering of your ship. This combines with your initial ship's lack of firepower makes the first few battles very boring, drawn out game of tag between your ships and the enemies. Also, you could only ever directly control the flagship. Other ships in your fleet are all controlled by the AI. You could manipulate the ship's behavior by assigning the suitable captain to it, which can make the ships prioritize melee combat or prioritize bombing the enemy away from distance. But that's it. So there is little you can do to formalize your battle strategies. The battle does get better as you start getting better ships and equipment for your fleet, but it never quite become good, just a lot less insufferable. A few things that I should note before talking about the game's actual writing. 1. There are a total of 4 main characters you can play as: Andrew, who stars at Portugal; Abdullah, who stars at Saudi Arabia; Yunmu, who stars at China; and Shizuma Yoshitaka, who stars at Japan. I picked Abdullah because I thought he looks the coolest, and this is the total amount of hours I have with him, so I am really in no hurry to replay the game as another character. So at best, I could only talk about the quality of 1/4 of the main story and the side contents that I encountered during my Abdullah's playthrough. 2. The translation in this game is bad. You could still understand the script most of the time, but a lot of the dialogue just feel rather stiff or awkward. Sometimes the phrasings are just so weird that I'm not sure I follow the conversations. Typos are common enough to be noticeable. Sometimes the text just don't fit into the boxes and got cut off at the end, and in some extreme cases make it rather confusing what the text was even about. There are untranslated text in the game, like with the goods required for requests, but this is probably just a glitch. What definitely isn't a glitch though is this event right here. Like, did they even try? So in short, the translation is bad. It's not like unplayable bad, but it can take you out of the game a lot. Now that's out of the way, how is the actual story? Abdullah is a young bird diver, and one day, after a bird hunting trip, his crew got betrayed by the pirates who hired them. Abdullah was the sole survivor of the incident, and he set out on the journey to rid the world of the pirates who dared cross him. The story starts out decent enough, as it quickly sets up a life-changing event for our protagonist and firmly defines the reason as to why Abdullah determines to assemble a fleet of his own and set sail into the unknown. After that though, the story is just kinda whatever. Abdullah follows the trail left behind by the pirates, lost the trail, and or got told to go somewhere else to find more clues. It's basically just a very long string of your princess is in another castle, and pretty much just an excuse to let the player travel to various different ports across the entire globe. By halfway through the game, I basically stopped caring about Abdullah's quest for revenge and was a lot more interested in the side stories of various crewmates that I met throughout my journey. The crewmates are very diverse with very colorful backgrounds and personalities, and there are various different circumstances that lead to your meetings and you recruiting your crewmates. Most of the crewmates also have personal quest lines that you can follow through, provided you found the correct clues or been to the right places, and most of the quest lines feel like small mysteries that just beg to be solved and have their resolution seen. So the process of recruiting new crewmates is a journey of discovery in and of itself, and frankly, the stories of the crewmates are a lot more interesting and rewarding than Abdullah's main story in my opinion. Unfortunately, while I do like the storylines the game offers quite a bit, the translation kinda ruined my fun with it in a lot of places. Hands down, the most impressive thing about the game. If you're a man of culture, you may notice that the art style of the game resembles that of Grand Blue Fantasy, which is a huge plus for me since I really like the art style in that game and would kill to have more games mimicking it. Not just the characters, but the backgrounds and even the items are all beautifully illustrated. The best part is that almost everything is appropriate to the region the drawings belong to, right down to the UI you could see for the facilities upon entering the port. Due to such impressive drawings, the rare few times that it looked like the artist kinda phoned it in stood out quite a bit to me. Though this is not anything that damages the enjoyment you could get out of the game, I just thought it's very funny when I spot this. There are a few gripes I have about the game's visuals though. 1. The UI when you're sailing. As you can see here, the UI takes a lot of spaces. This is not exactly a problem since your eyes will just filter out the occupied spaces when playing anyway, but it does unnecessarily limit your field of view a lot. There's an easy way to fix this, and that is to shove all the UI elements to one side of the screen and move the ship a little bit to the other side, like how Uncharted Waters 4 did. Considering just how much inspiration Sailing Age took from Uncharted Waters, I'm surprised they didn't also take after this UI design. 2. The menu UI. The map menu is very good and its brown aesthetic gives off a feel of aging paper, which really fits with the setting of the 15th century that the game takes place in, whereas other menus have very sharp and smooth UI that don't look like they fit in with the map menu. The worst part is that these menus have white backgrounds. A not so fun fact here, I first played this game on a Saturday night with all the lights in my room turned off for maximum sailing confidence. After a few minutes staring at the deep dark ocean, I pressed a button to bring up the menu to see what the text description is, and the white background just immediately burns into my eyes and made me slightly look away to adjust my vision a bit. If most of the game have the ocean as the main focus, then please don't make the UI poor white. I already have weak eyesight, please don't make me go blind, damn it. Except the battle theme, every region has unique theme songs to it, and they are all very distinct to the region the song plays in and capture perfectly the culture or the feel of the place you're sailing into. One of my comfiest experiences with the game is drifting across the land of Alaska and listening to the song playing in the background. Yeah, my crew was literally dying of starvation here, but however, the song was good. Also, the game's main vocal theme song is just Overall, I am very satisfied with the game's OST. However, there is a very big problem with the game's OST, and it's that they don't loop nor transition into another song properly. Like, why? The game has a very good OST to it, but the way the game utilizes said OST is just so half-hearted. Like, seriously, why? I also have quite a few problems with other sounds in the game. Whenever you enter a facility, the NPC there will say a line to welcome you, and they have exactly one voice line that they will keep on repeating every single time you enter the facility. I go in and out of the shipyard and the market to do my businesses a lot, and the voice lines get really grating very quickly.
Captain, kamu berada di tempat yang betul. Captain, kamu berada di tempat yang betul. Captain, kamu berada di tempat yang betul.
Shut the fuck up. For the first 2 chapters, I wasn't very sure whether I liked the game or not due to the various problems of the game's progression I mentioned earlier, and to be honest, I'm still not sure whether all the grinding is actually worth it or not, since most of the bonuses you can get out of the parts are all pretty minuscule, and the upgrades to the ships are only there to make the grinding less tedious. But I like seeing number going up, and I did enjoy the grinding somewhat. Also, the joy of discovering new events and characters and quest lines was addicting. I was obsessed with the game for a good while because I couldn't wait to see what else the game still has in store for me. And being able to explore the whole wide world is not something you get to experience every day. And for all the shortcomings the game has, it does do the magic of discovery really well. Helps that it has a really pretty look to it too, so despite all of the grinding, my experience with the game was a pretty pleasant one. Except the menu UI. That shit legit hurts my eyes. Though there is this something I didn't quite like about the game. Most of the difficulty in it comes from the fact that you are so ill-equipped and lack proper human resources, so you got to grind out the money to upgrade your fleet. This is quite a stark contrast to Uncharted Waters, the game I was playing a little bit shortly before playing this game. And in Uncharted Waters 4, the difficulty comes from balancing your wallet just right, because recruiting sailors, drinking at the bar to extract rumors, asking the market to share pricing trends, and even just trying to have access to the market in the first place, all of that actually costs money, shit tons even. Whereas in Sailing Era, only drinking to restore morale costs money at the laughable price of 100 coins. So, engaging with the game's economic system is a lot less interesting and would just grind out requests like you're playing an MMO instead, which can be a fun thing of its own, but I think it's kind of an unfortunate miss. Not so funny story here, but I actually intended to play and review Uncharted Waters 4, but I keep running out of money and my crew keep dying from starvation because I couldn't afford new batches of supplies. So I tried looking up guides on how to play that game and somehow saw this new game called Sailing Era, which just came out literally a day before. So I ended up playing the game, got hooked, and here I am making a review to show the game to you. Sailing Era has quite a bit of translation issues, and the game suffers from a rather rough and grindy beginning. But if you can weather through that, you would find yourself with a very charming journey of seafaring and discovery. Despite all of the rants and complaints I have about the game throughout this review, I 100% recommend you to try out the game for yourself if possible. If I were to give score to the game, it could be something like this. Damn, Caribbean girls look like that.